The Marshall is very interested, he told me, in the question and answer period. He says that that's where the best action will happen. Many of you might hear him on the Street Soldiers program on KMEL every Sunday night. So he's used to rapid fire, and we're going to get a chance to have some engagement over the next 30, 45 minutes or so. Please welcome again Dr. Joseph Marshall.
Thank you, Pastor McBride. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. So I have to first say thank you for asking. There's this thing, well, I feel I don't get asked enough. And every time I say that, people say, well, I think you're too busy. No, I'm not too busy. So thank you for asking. So I'm going to start by saying who people think I am, and yes, I'm that and more. So how many of you have heard of Omega Boys Club Street Soldiers? Okay, some people haven't. See, okay. So I'm the founder, co-founder and executive director of Omega Boys Club Street Soldiers. I'm the host of the Street Soldiers radio program, which has been on KMEL. Now that's a miracle. I still don't know how we on that station. To have a talk show like Street Soldiers on a music station is definitely the work of the Lord. I mean, I just can't believe that. Sometimes, how are we on here? And actually, when the station was sold, because the stations are sold, and Clear Channel bought the station, they actually put us off because they didn't want any non-musical programs on the air. And people say, you never get back on. So I called the station about a year later, and they said, we should have never put you off in the first place. So that is certainly not any of my doing. I'm the founder of the Alive and Free movement, but that's what most people think I am. Those are things I do. But Pastor McBride was correct. What I do is I am a clinician of the disease of violence. And let me just say there have been two events that have shaped me in this work. The first was a few years ago. I was in Detroit, and there was a youth conference. I went to speak at a youth conference, and there was a gentleman there who came up to me and said, well, why are you here? I said, well, I'm here, I'm here as a conference. And he says, I don't know what you're doing here. You can't help anybody here. And I said, well, why not? He said, you don't know the streets of Detroit. You don't know what's going on in Detroit. You don't know these neighborhoods and so on and so forth. And I remember it's hit me a little bit hard because I know my intentions were good. And I said to him, well, I know people are dying in Detroit, so that's why I'm here. But then you have one of these moments that actually really shaped me, just helped propel me forward. I thought to him, I said, let me ask you something. What if one of your young men got hit by a car and you find out I was a doctor? You wouldn't say to me, well, I assume you wouldn't say to me, what are you doing here? You can't help this young man. You're not from Detroit. You wouldn't ask me where I was from. You wouldn't say you're from California. You wouldn't say this. You would say, will you help this boy? Because you saw me as a doctor who could help anybody, anywhere. You saw me as a specialist, someone who was able to go anywhere in the world, and if someone was sick, would not begin to question where I'm from, any of that. And I thought, turf gets in the way of all of me helping people. And that's why many times I wish I didn't have a location. I wish I didn't have an address. I don't even wish I have a name. Because it gets in the way of people getting help. But unfortunately, I got to have a name. I got to have a location. I got to have this. And I feel fortunate for the people that get that, because when I went to South Africa and I started to speak and I talked about helping young people there and how I was able to help young people there, the fact that I was in America never even entered into their head. they saw me as, oh, we got the same problem here, you can help us. When I went to Montreal and ran into some Crips and Bloods in Montreal, you know they have Crips and Bloods in Montreal? Those people up there did not see me as someone from America or any place else. They just said, help these kids. When I went to Nigeria, and the latest place I got back from Thailand, and it was fascinating in Thailand because the only person I saw look like me in Thailand was me in the mirror. And, but see, they get it. What they get is their young people are suffering from the same thing as our young people are, and they don't see me as black, white. I mean, they see that, but they see me as a doctor of the disease of violence. And that's great when people get that, because then they don't stop me from helping young people. And one of the reasons I really tried to frame this whole issue of violence in that way, in a health issue, because I needed something that would cut through the turf. And it's bad in this business. I mean, youth business is a turf business. My kids, my city, my this, my that. And so I had to keep trying to come up with a model that would cut across. And medicine is the only thing I think that can do that. Now, I'm at the beginning of that, and I'm just starting to get into that, and people starting to see it. And I thank God for those people that do see it, because it doesn't block me from saving young people. That was the first epiphany, if you want to call it that. The second was, years ago when I started doing Omega, I wanted to help young people really bad. And I wanted to help them beat the streets. And then personally, I wanted to do something for them. I really did. I just, I wanted to do something for them. And I wanted to do something I could deliver on. Worst thing you can do is work with young people and not deliver. So I could have said I wanted to help them get a job, but I can't control the economy. It's a good thing I didn't say that. I'd really be in trouble now. But I said, look, I want to do something for you if you beat the streets. If you're in it, get out. If you're not in it, don't get in. It's real simple. So here's all I do for you. And I opened my big mouth in 1987 and said to those kids, look, you stick with this. Here's what I want to do for you. I said, you pick the college and I'll find the money to pay for it. And they looked at me like I was crazy. And I looked at me like I was crazy because I didn't have any money. No, I had no money. You think I'm playing? I have no money. And I had 3 kids of my own. And I had to put them through school. And, I said, okay, I open my mouth now. I don't call it a promise because I call it a commitment. I made a commitment. And that was in 1987. And a year later, 1988, I had these 8 kids that wanted to go to college. And they come and they say, okay. And I still didn't have any money. But then the first of a series of miracles began to happen. And I'm going to tell you the first miracle, because I couldn't have, you know what a leap of faith is? This was a big leap of faith.